the United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session on January 12, 2026, after a dramatic escalation in the war in Ukraine. The meeting was requested by Ukraine in response to a surge of Russian missile and drone strikes targeting not only military sites but civilian infrastructure, including residential areas, power and heating systems, leaving millions without basic services in freezing winter conditions. The UN Secretary-General called these attacks unacceptable violations of international humanitarian law and urged the Council to act.
We condemn Russia's continuing and intensifying attacks on Ukraine's energy facilities and other civilian infrastructure. These attacks make a mockery of the cause of peace, a cause of paramount importance to the world and to President Trump.
Russia deliberately waited until early January, when temperatures in Ukraine plunged to -15 degrees Celsius, to unleash some of its most devastating drone and missile strikes against our energy infrastructure, pushing millions of civilians to the very edge of freezing.
Inside the Security Council chamber, diplomats debated sharply divergent views. Many Western states, led by the United States and the United Kingdom, condemned Russia's recent use of advanced missiles, including the Oreshnik intermediate-range ballistic missile, as a dangerous escalation that threatens international peace and security. Speakers highlighted the human toll of the escalation: thousands of civilians killed or injured, widespread destruction of essential infrastructure, and communities plunged into darkness and cold. They called for an immediate cessation of attacks on civilians and renewed efforts toward a sustainable peace. This is CB News. Subscribe to our channel for daily world news update. Stay tuned. At the same time, Russia's representative to the United Nations rejected accusations of targeting civilians.
For the party of war's line to accuse Russia of all ills, completely ignoring the causal links,
characterizing its actions as part of the broader conflict and defensive operations. Moscow blamed Kyiv and Western support for prolonging the war, insisting Russia would continue its military campaign unless its conditions for a settlement are met. Unlike some council sessions where unanimous statements are issued, no binding resolution emerged from yesterday's emergency meeting. Deep divisions between permanent members, especially between Russia on one side and the US and its allies on the other, meant no consensus on a course of action was achieved. However, the meeting did result in a clear verbal rebuke of the intensified attacks and a strong call from several members for an end to strikes on civilian infrastructure, protection for non-combatants, and renewed diplomatic engagement. The UN Secretary-General's statement about the unjustifiability of civilian attacks underscored the urgency of taking humanitarian concerns seriously.
Conditions worsen, and people's need for heating becomes most acute. In one of the most recent large-scale barrages overnight between 8 and 9 January,
So what does this mean going forward? First, the world is watching. The inability of the Security Council to agree on a unified plan highlights the deep geopolitical rifts that continue to define global diplomacy. Second, the situation on the ground in Ukraine remains severe, especially with the harsh winter and damaged infrastructure. And third, while formal action was limited, yesterday's debate adds to growing international pressure on all parties to find a peaceful resolution. CB News, bringing you World News Update. Thank you for watching.